What exactly is an Alexandrian mentality? Well, here's Philo. Now, if his picture looks very similar to the picture of Origen, which I showed you on the last disc, it's probably drawn by the same artist. And it doesn't really matter how much they look alike. They pretty much believe, right down the list, everything they believe is identical. Philo here taught the school at Alexandria, and he was critical of anyone who took the Bible literally. He never gave up his Jewish practices, and he thought the world was uncreated. Philo did not believe in the Trinity. So, what exactly is an Alexandrian mentality? Well, basically all those things. Someone who believes the Bible is not perfect. Someone who thinks the Bible can be improved upon. Now, here's where it gets a little touchy, because there are many good Christians that kind of have their doubts about the Bible. And I think they kind of lean towards an Alexandrian mentality. Now, they don't really mean to. It just kind of happens. There's also another indicator of an Alexandrian mentality. Do you find yourself agreeing with the devil in the Garden of Eden? Yea, hath God said. Always trying to correct the Bible. Now, when Philo received a manuscript, he viewed them as being flawed, so he corrected them. Now, I'm going to show you 4 different kinds of Bible readers. Okay, I'm going to divide them up into Antioch and Alexandria, of course. Now, today, I have an Antioch mentality. I believe that you cannot improve upon the Bible. I believe that my Bible is perfect. And I have a copy, therefore I have the Scriptures. Some people don't think there are Scriptures. They think that all those were written a long time ago and all we have is just copies, and therefore there's bound to be mistakes. So they may use the wrong Scriptures or whatever. But I've got a mentality of Antioch, and I've got the Antioch Bible, basically. Now, of course, the other guys, the scholars, the Bible correctors, they have an Alexandrian mentality. They don't think the Bible is perfect. They think that it can constantly be improved upon, and they usually have scriptures coming from Alexandria which are corrupt. So to recap, if you remember the first disc, I think the best place to get your scriptures is from Antioch, and they think, I went too far, they think the best place to get them is from Alexandria, Egypt. I also didn't get to mention this the first time. There was yet another reference to Alexandria in the Bible. This Jew named Apollos. He's introduced as a Jew. Keep in mind there were 3 people. You have the Greek, which is the Gentile. You have the Jew, which is still under the law. And you have a member of the Church of God, or a Christian. And he went around preaching, and was a very good preacher, but he only knew the baptism of John, as it says at the bottom of verse 25. And he began to speak very boldly. He's doing good, but he's got the wrong doctrine at this point. So Aquila and Priscilla hears him, and they took him under their wing, and they told him and explained to him the real doctrine. So later on, verse 27, now he's introduced as being one of us. He's no longer called a Jew, for he's got his doctrine straight out, and he's going out and convincing Jews in verse 28, showing that Jesus was the Christ using scriptures. So here you had a guy starting off from Alexandria and getting his doctrine and his mentality straightened out, and then he starts preaching the real word. So he becomes Antiochian, so to speak. Now I realize this is going to be kind of dry to most of you, but from time to time you'll meet someone who has a blending of these two philosophies. So what do I mean by that? Well, sometimes you're going to find a guy or a gal that has an Antioch mentality. They'll believe that the Bible cannot be improved upon. However, the book they're carrying around comes from Alexandria. Now, what kind of person is this? Well, they're usually a brand new Christian, a brand new convert, and they're doing the best they can. They just don't know. Maybe they're carrying around with them a Living Bible or a Good News Bible or Good News for Modern Man, and they think it's, the perfect preserved Word of God. They've got the right mentality. They've just got the wrong Bible. For the longest time, I was one of these people. I thought my Alexandrian scriptures were the inspired Word of God, and I thought I had it all, and I had the right mentality. I believed. I was totally committed, but I just had the wrong scriptures. Now, these people aren't bad. They just depending on if they go to a Bible college, if they go to a good one or not, how they're going to turn out. They'll either be all Antioch or all Alexandrian. Now, this is the kind of person you've got to worry about. They use the right Bible. They may be adamant, I only use a King James, brother, and they go real crazy, but they've got an Alexandrian mentality. They constantly correct the Bible, and they use the Greek to do it. But they'll only use the King James, but they still correct. And this is the kind of person that causes the most trouble, actually. They kind of mean well. Now, the Antiochian mentality, which I mentioned before, believes that the Bible is the perfect Word of God. It cannot be improved upon. And so that would be the mentality you'd have, and you'd have the right Bible. So if you haven't figured it out by now, I'm in the minority. And when I try to explain this issue to my fellow Christians, I'm usually met with all sorts of apathy. My fellow Christians don't seem to care. Well, we still use these new versions and they're okay, and you're just making too much of a hobby horse out of this. You're going to cause trouble. You're going to divide a church one day over this issue. No, I'm not. If you want to read those modern versions, go ahead. Help yourself, brother. I'm not going to be bothered by it. I'm not going to use them. It's your own throat, not mine.